Good morning, everybody. This is Thomas Felder. Welcome to another edition of A Simple Diet. A Simple Diet. This morning we are covering, we're in a book, and the book is called Counsels on Diets and Foods. It also comes from a book called Ministry of Healing, and it was put together. This compilation was put together by a doctor by the name of Alan Toppelberg. I believe his name is Alan Toppelberg. And we're going to pick up today with medicinal use of oil. I think that's where we ended off on last week, Tuesday. So we're just picking up in the same paragraph, and then we'll press forward from here. Before we go too far, let's just pray. Father in heaven, be with us for the next few moments as we go through this book. Give us wisdom that we will hear and understand and do things that will help us to live healthier lives. We ask these and so many more blessings in your holy son, Yeshua's name. Amen. Now, a lot of the language in this book and a lot of the remedies are over 100 years old. So this is what people used to do before they had a PPO and whatever other old there is with this health insurance stuff. But these are some natural remedies that we will cover in this book on how to stay healthy. All right, so let's pick up medicinal use of oil. Sister Shambra? All right, going once.
No, I'm
Sister
here.
All right, then.
Medicinal use of oil. Charcoal as a remedy for some forms of indigestion. It is more infectious than drugs. A little olive oil into which some of the powder has been stirred tends to cleanse and heal. I find it is excellent. Letter 100. Pulverized charcoal used this freely, mixed with sweet oil. Thus, it can be taken with less difficult than it is if mixed with water. I think if I think that you will obtain benefit from the use of charcoal compresses pulverized pulverized charcoal moisten put in a flannel bag and placed over the affected part. When my husband was sick, I had recourse to many remedies, and I know the value of charcoal as a healing agency. I have worked of I have worked for my husband with marked success when his life was in great peril.
All right, good deal. So this is where we left off last week, and this is talking about the use of medicinal oil and charcoal, right? So charcoal is a detoxifier, as Sister Amelia talked to us about last week. And she says it's great for all forms of indigestion. Sometimes you eat foods that are too acidic. Sometimes you drink while you eat. Sometimes you mix foods that that um that are processed in your body faster than others. So, for example, fruits process much faster than vegetables in your system. And the fruits process so fast that now you got spoilage in your stomach, right? It's rotten in your stomach. And vegetables process much faster than starches, and starches process much faster than meats. So that's why you got to be careful these things that you mix up when you're eating. So she says a little olive oil that you can mix it with this charcoal powder. It's called activated charcoal. You can find it from any health store. You can even find it at Walmart. Just try to get it organic if you can. And you can take a little bit every day. So for half of the stuff that you're eating that's poison, and you are taking a bunch of poison, and I'm sure, it'll run some of it out of you. It'll run some of it out of you. But be cautious. A lot of the medications that you take, the charcoal will protect you from the medicine. The medicine that many times we get as prescriptions is an assault on our bodies. Yes, I know it's designed to fix A, but it's breaking B, C, and D. You understand what I'm saying? Is that making sense, Sister Denise? It sounds clear in my head. So yeah. So the charcoal will fight against some of that medication. So just keep that in mind. And she says pulverized charcoal. That's when you got one of these little things they made out of marble or granite, and they got a little pounding stick and it smashes. Some of y'all use that for for maybe ginger or something, or garlic, and you smash it in this little thing. Maybe I'll show you a picture when we're done. But yeah, that's the way that she would mix it. And when she talks about sweet oil, sweet light oils, let me give you an example of one. Almond oil. Almond oil is a sweet light oil. Some oils are very thick and heavy. The heaviest one I could think of is castor oil. Castor oil is a super heavy oil, but sweet almond oil is a light oil, and people use these a lot of times the same way you use lotion. Lotion. That's what we used to put on ourselves, as before Revlon and Dove and all of these people started to poison us. We used to put oil on our bodies, and you got to mix the oil with water. If you don't mix the oil with water, you just look like you just fell into a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. But if you mix the oil with the water, let your hand be wet first, put some oil in your hand, rub it together, and it will absorb into your skin. Right? That's the trick. So you don't look like you just ate chicken. But half of the oil that we're eating, we should be using it as lotion, not with our food. Okay. All right. Continue, says, did EGW. EGW here stands for Ellen G. White. That's just an abbreviation. Okay. Go ahead, Sister Shaw.
Did EGW approve of everything on her grocery list? I do not eat butter, but the members of my family who do. But there are members of my family who do. It is not placed on my table, but I make no disturbance because some members of my family choose to eat it occasionally. But other members of my family do not eat the same things I do. I do not hold myself up as a criteria for them. Butter is never placed on my table, but if the members of my family choose to use a little butter away from the table, they are at liberty to do so. But EGW was faithful to health reform. I have been a faithful health reformer. Those who have been members of my family know that this is true.
Amen. Thank you so much, sis. Let's press on a little bit further. It says, let us progress intelligently. So she was telling you about what she really did, and she also told you about what some of her families did. In my house growing up, my mom didn't let us eat meat, but my dad was a meat and potatoes man. And my mother, I don't know if she directly stopped us from eating meat, but we just followed her example and instead of my dad's example. For whatever reason, my mom appeared to be more vibrant, more, so we was like, we want that. We want that. So that's how it was in my house. My dad wasn't a vegetarian. My mom was, and we followed my mom. All right, sis, if you can take this last section, let us progress intelligently. Then I'm coming to you, Sister Denise.
Let us progress intelligently. Let us make intelligent advancement in simplifying our diet. Should we be progressive in knowledge and action? Let the diet reform be progressive. Let the people be taught how to prepare food without the use of milk or butter. Tell them that the time will soon come where there will be no safety in using egg, milk, cream, or butter.
That was 100 years ago. So the time that is no longer safe to use eggs, milk, cream, and butter is when? Now. Now, that's why so many people who don't even claim to be believers or Christians or whatever, they could be worshiping rocks and they're becoming vegans. You know what I'm saying? Because they know what they're doing to these animals, what kind of poisons they got to pump these animals full of to stay afloat. Remember, they can't kill a dead animal and serve it to you. So they got to give them antibiotics. They give more antibiotics and medicine to the animals than to y'all, because they got to keep them alive so they could slaughter them, So she's saying health reform is progressive. Some of you today eat pork, you eat shrimp, you eat crabs, you eat lobster, you eat all kind of stuff, rabbit and possum, I don't know, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. But you're eating all kind of stuff. And today's the first day you're hearing that this stuff is going to kill you. And the Bible tells us what is healthy food and what kind of meats we shouldn't eat. So it's progressive. So at a minimum, while you are trying to figure everything else out, get rid of the foods that the Bible says is unclean. Start there. Get rid of the pork. Get that out your diet. You know, you're still eating squirrel, opossum, rabbit. Get that out your diet. Or duck. You know, I was joking one day with somebody about eating rabbit, and he was like, yeah, I got some in my fridge. I was like, they still sell that in the supermarket? Obviously, they do. So for those of you who think that I'm stretching it, this is a conversation that I had in the near distant past with somebody. So all of these kind of foods, the rabbit, the shrimp, the crab, the lobster, at least get rid of those, right? And work yourself towards chicken and beef, and then work yourself off of chicken and beef. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of move progressively. You know, even though change is good, change is difficult for many people. And I am respectful of that. I think I am. That's not true. But I should be more respectful of that. At least the writer of this pamphlet that we are reading is respectful of change being progressive. Ma, too much honesty? Too much honesty. Look at my mom. My mom was like, too much honesty. I'm like, change or die. All right, come on, let's go. Sister Shambra, finish these last two paragraphs, and then I'm coming to you, Sister Denise.
Investigate your habits of diet. Study from cause to effect, but do not bear false witness against health reform by ignorantly pursuing a course which militates against it. Do not neglect or abuse the body, and thus unfit it to render to God the service which is his due. To my certain knowledge, some of the most useful workers in our cause have died through some neglect. To care for the body by providing for it food which is relishable and strengthening is one of the first duties of our householders.
All right, pause
Many
for a second.
do not feel.
Pause for a second. I'm sorry. All right. This sentence right here, she says, investigate your habits of diet, study from cause to effect. Most sicknesses that we have is based on what we eat and the other commandments that we disobey. Almost, not every single one, but a good number of them we can control. Most of the sicknesses that you have 20 pills that you got to take every day got to do with your diet and other sins that we have brought upon ourselves, right? So it says, but do not bear false witness against health reform. Don't tell other people not to change their diet, right? You don't want to change your diet and you just want to deal with arthritis and swollen this and broken that. The writer is saying, don't be ignorant. You know, even if you don't want to change and eat fruits and vegetables and don't want to drink water, don't tell other people not to do it. You know, the people always quick to tell you about the one grandmother who's 150 years old and she smokes 2 packs a day and she still eats a pound of swine. You know what I'm saying? They always bring up that grandma. I like to see her. I like to see her, the one that's still having 2 shots of vodka every 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? We always bring those up because we trying to stop other people from being healthy. And the writer's saying, don't do it. Even if you're not ready to take the next step and be healthy, don't prevent other people from doing it. You can't, my mother says, you can't say something good. Don't say nothing at all. Don't say nothing at all. Right? All right, sis, take us out with this last paragraph. And then Sister Denise, I'm coming to you.
Many do not feel this is a matter of duty. Hence, they do not prepare food properly. This can be done in a simple, helpful, and easy manner without the use of lard, butter, or fresh meats. Skill must be united with simplicity. To do this, women must read and then patiently reduce what they read to practice.
All right, awesome. So she's saying here that you got to learn how to cook, and then don't put certain things into your food like lard. Lard is pig fat, right? Butter, which is milk, and flesh meats. She's saying eventually work those out of your cooking regimen. Come up with something else. And on the internet, you got no excuse now. You can go on the internet and you can put in vegan diets or vegan recipe, or vegan dessert, vegan entree, vegan hors d'oeuvres, or whatever it is. And then you can put lazy vegan. That's the one that my daughter follows online. It's a girl. She's called the Lazy Vegan, believe it or not. That's really like her her internet name. She's super popular, and all of her dishes have 3 or 4 ingredients, and she is the lazy vegan, right? My daughter loves following her online. Just wanted to give you a suggestion. All right, so the people on YouTube, I'm coming to you for a second. Y'all on Zoom, hang on for 1 minute. So everybody on YouTube is asking, what days do you do what? All right, because we do have a couple of different Bible studies. So let me type it in. We go online every Tuesday. And for those of you on Zoom, you can write it down too if you want. On Tuesdays, we do health, right? And we are doing a book called A Simple Diet. That is every Tuesday. Okay. On Wednesday, we go online as well. Now we're on 7 days a week, but we only go online a few days out of the week. So on Wednesday, we are online and we do cover to cover. That is when we go through the Bible 1 chapter at a time. We do that every Wednesday live. On Friday, these are all at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, by the way. On Fridays at 6 a.m., we cover a book called Patriarchs and Prophets. Well, the last book that we did was called Great Controversy, and we covered that book for 14 months. This book is probably not going to be much different. We're only on chapter 12. It is an awesome book. It is a journey through the Bible with all of the nooks and crannies, right? It's called Patriarchs and Prophets. And then on Saturday or Sabbath, we do another day of cover to cover. So every week, we cover 2 chapters of the Bible, 1 chapter at a time. Okay, so we're currently up to 1 Kings chapter 4, and we started at Genesis 1. All right, so for those of you online who asked the question, whoop, there it is. There's your answer. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, we do have Bible studies that are not online on other days. So on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, we do other things. So Sunday is kind of like a more loose day for us on Zoom. And if you ever want to join us live on Zoom, those of you on YouTube are welcome to join us. But that Sunday, Monday, we do a men's presentation normally. And on Thursday, we have ladies, they have Sisters Table Talk. And lately, the ladies are exercising on Thursdays. They do a 1 mile sort of deal that they can do from their living room. And this Thursday, I was told that you can do the exercise sitting down. So I'm looking forward to that. Soon, somebody's going to figure out a way for us to exercise in our sleep. I'm just kidding, ladies. I'm just kidding. It was just a joke. Don't hold it against me. All right, let's get back to the study. So I just wanted to answer that question for everybody online. Monday is Man Up Monday. Somebody, or you want the Zoom link? Okay, hang on. Y'all got to excuse me on Zoom. I always talk to y'all, and we hardly ever talk to the internet. YouTube. So I just wanted to spend a minute with them and see if I could give them some information. I'm going to give you the link for cover to cover for anybody who ever wants to come on live. Also, if you go to the description on any of my cover to cover, there's always a live link if you want to come on live, right? So here's a little link that you can use. Tiny URL C2C Bible. That's cat number 2. C, cat, C2C. I'm trying to say it like in the military so you can't screw it up, but there it is. There's a little link. If you click on that link, it'll always bring you on live to the Bible study. Is that fair? All right, good. We got a thumbs up. All good. All good. All right, so let's get back to where we were. Progressive, but not aggressive. Be progressive, mean advance the ball, but don't be too aggressive. Let's figure out what that's about. Sister Denise, pick up for us. Sister Shamba, thank you for reading.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Progressive but not aggressive. Be very cautious not to advance too fast, lest we be obliged to retrace our steps. In reforms, we had better come 1 step short of the mark than to go 1 step beyond it. And if there is error at all, let it be on the side next to the people.
All right. More counsel on a simple diet.
Okay.
Continue, sis.
An abstemious diet for a month or 2 would convince many sufferers that the path of self-denial is the path to health.
And a stimulus diet means that if you're diabetic for 2 months, try not to eat stuff with sugar in it.
Okay.
Don't eat stuff that's ultra processed. For 2 months, she says, change your diet and you will definitely see a difference. That's what the writer is saying here. Drink more water, put your coffee down, your cigarette down, put your alcohol down just for 2 months and see if you don't feel better. See if your body doesn't recover better. Have more fiber. 2 months is what she's saying, a month or two. All right. Pick up. It says, if I don't relish.
If I don't relish a simple diet, persons who have indulged their appetite to eat freely of meat, highly seasoned gravies, and various kinds of rich cakes and preserves cannot immediately relish a plain, wholesome, and nutritious diet. They need not expect to relish. Okay.
No, I was just saying, if you used to eating every night out at some restaurant or some place where they got tons of gravy slathered on a biscuit, you're not going to be too happy going to fruits and vegetables overnight. That's all she's saying. It's going to take some adjustment. All right, continue, sis.
They need not expect to relish at first food so different from that which they have been indulging themselves to eat. If they cannot at first enjoy plain food, they should fast until they can. That fast will prove to them of greater benefit than medicine. For the abused stomach will find that rest which it has long needed, and real hunger can be satisfied with a plain diet.
So, Sister Denise, if you like sugar, like some of us are addicted to sugar, and some of us are addicted to salt, some of us are addicted to spicy food. We like really spicy food. Do you know if you fast for 3 days to a week, and then once you go back to regular food, your palate becomes like a baby's palate? That's how babies can eat mashed peas and mash this, and they go, and they beg for more. They no longer have the strong desire for those things that our taste buds have become accustomed to. So it's almost like getting a fresh start. So you want a fresh start, go 3 days without some of this stuff, and then you could go now and drink water, and the water will taste good to you.
It's a reset, right?
It's a reset. That is correct.
Okay. It will take time for the taste to recover from the abuses which it has received and to gain its natural tone. But perseverance in a self-denying course of eating and drinking will soon make plain, wholesome food palatable, and it will soon be eaten with a greater satisfaction than an epicure enjoys over his rich dainties.
Persons who have accustomed, continue.
Persons who have accustomed themselves to a rich, highly stimulating diet have an unnatural taste, and they cannot at once relish food that is plain and simple. It will take time for the taste to become natural and for the stomach to recover from the abuse it has suffered. But those who persevere in the use of wholesome food will, after a time, find it palatable. Its delicate and delicious flavors will be appreciated, and it will be eaten with greater enjoyment than can be derived from unwholesome dainties. And the stomach, in a healthy condition, neither fevered nor overtaxed, can readily perform its task. I suffered keen hunger. I was a great meat eater, but when faint, I placed my arms across my stomach and said, I will not taste a morsel. I will eat simple food, or I will not eat at all. Bread was distasteful to me. I could seldom eat a piece as large as $1. Some things in the reform I could get along with very well, but when I came to the bread, I was especially set against it.
So this is the writer saying, when she got sick, she knew what she was doing wrong. She said, I put the bread down. She said, I changed. The top remedies of 100 years ago and beyond, most of history up until 100 years ago, what were the 4 or 5 top remedies to all sickness? Anybody want to know? Want to guess? The number one was water, right? Water, fasting, putting yourself in hot water and then cold water is called, what is that called? Hydrotherapy. This is like a major way that they used to treat stuff. Sunshine, rest, fresh air. You know what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, prayer, prayer, temperance. That means not too much. Sunlight. This is how people used to treat their illnesses. Go ahead, Ma. I see your hand up.
You go back to the last paragraph.
Right here.
I don't understand what you're saying compared to what she just said. Could you go
What I'm
over
saying is that she's talking about when she was feeling sick, she just put the food down, fasting. She fasted from the thing so her body can heal. And in fact, the next section that's coming up is all about fasting. Sometimes it's just putting the food down, Ma.
No, I didn't know it was about fasting. I thought it was about bread.
Well, bread was the thing when her stomach was hurting. She says, I will not eat anymore. You know, she says, I was a great meat eater, but when I was faint, meaning I was feeling sick, I put it down. I wouldn't eat a morsel. I would only eat simple food, you know? So she said that when she was feeling sick, she put some of this food down. And I was telling the people that a long time ago, up until relatively recently, most of the Earth's history was a very simple stuff. Before there was CVS and Walgreens and Walmart and what's this, Pfizer and all of these companies that 24 hours a day are pushing commercials about everything that'll fix anything. They always got these two people in the park and they're on a swing and they're in perfect health. And they tell you about how miserable their life was until they got XYZ drug. And now look at them. They got no issues, no problems. They happy in the park. And then the lawyer comes on right before it's over. And he says really fast that this medication can cause bleeding, erectile dysfunction, thoughts of suicide, blood in your urine. And he goes on for 20 minutes, right? It undoes everything that the little purple pill might possibly do for you. And I'm just trying to show them what some of the old time natural remedies were. So let's talk about it now. We're on the first one. She says, what about fasting? This is one of the top remedies, man. All the way back to the time of Jesus, fasting. Pick up, Sister Denise.
What about fasting? There are some who would be benefited more by abstinence from food for a day or two every week than by any amount of treatment or medical advice. To fast one day a week would be an incalculable benefit to them.
The Hebrew Israelites of the Bible and the Egyptians normally fasted 2 days a week their whole life. The 2 days were Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday. Why did they fast? They did it for spiritual clarity and physical health. Right? For 2 days, their bodies were able to recover, digest the old food. You didn't find a lot of people that were overweight in the Bible. You don't find a lot of them because the fasting, even when they were intemperate, the fasting would help consume all of these foods that had been sitting in their bellies for some inordinate amount of time. So there it is, right? Fast 1 day a week. You know, Fridays would be a good time. Friday, you know, from Friday morning until Friday sunset. Just pick 1 day, man. And then you could bring in the Sabbath with the meal. That's what we do at my house. Normally fast on Fridays and eat at sunset. All right, continue, Sister Denise.
Yes. I think that you have erred in fasting 2 days. God did not require it of you. I beg of you to be cautious and eat freely good, wholesome food twice a day. You will surely decrease in strength and your mind become unbalanced unless you change your course of abstemious diet.
No worries. Abstemious. That means put it down.
Put it down. Okay. Now and onward, till the close of time, the people of God should be more earnest, more wide awake, not trusting in their own wisdom, but in the wisdom of their leader. They should set aside days for fasting and prayer. Entire abstinence from food may not be required, but they should eat sparingly of the most simple food.
And just for clarity, Sister Denise, the last paragraph versus this one, she was writing to somebody who was fasting all the time. Like they were like on a permanent, like those people in prison who say they're not going to eat. And she was saying, hey, for you, you need to eat, right? The rest of y'all probably need to slow down,
It
right?
was a little confusing. Okay.
Right.
Like
So I
limit.
thought I'd bring a little clarity there. And
Yeah.
you'll find that if you go and you check the citation. So these are some clips. So some people they didn't eat enough. But this she's comparing that to people who are eating too much. Most of us fall in the eat too much category. Most
Like
of us.
bulimic or something? Are they the ones who don't eat?
No, these people just believed that a lot of their sicknesses came from food. So they just stopped eating food.
Okay.
And she was like, hey, you can't always not eat. You need energy, you need nutrition, you need something. So she was talking specifically to a group of people who were trying to eat as little as possible and saying you can't always be fasting. So that paragraph was a little different than most of these. So
Thank you for that. In cases of severe fever, abstinence from food for a short time will lessen the fever and make the use of water more effectual. If food is withheld too long, the stomach's craving for it will create fever, which will be relieved by a proper allowance of food of a right quality. It gives nature something to work upon.
all right. Mother says, starve of fever, feed a cold. Is that how it goes, Mom?
Yes, yes, starve a fever, cold. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, we'll try one more paragraph. I don't see any other hands up to read. So, Sister Denise, I guess you could keep going.
Could you just repeat what Sister Mary said, please?
Starve of
didn't catch
fever, feed a cold.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's old school. Mother Mamie's on. I think she could validate that. That's what the old school used to do. Starve of fever, feed
You're
a cold.
absolutely right.
Right.
Castor oil was another one too.
Castor oil. Castor oil causes you to go to the restroom. Oh, most of the illnesses that we have are right in your stomach. So if you can clean that gut out, you're halfway there. You're halfway there. All right. Spirit of meal. See what that's about. Spirit of meal.
If you are in constant fear that your food will hurt you, it most assuredly will. Forget your troubles, think of something cheerful. Some are continually anxious lest their food, however simple and helpful, may hurt them. To these, let me say, do not think that your food will injure you. Do not think about it at all. Eat according to your best judgment, and when you have asked the Lord to bless the food for the strengthening of your body, believe that he hears your prayer and be at rest.
You see, Sister Denise, this is the same group of people that she was telling them up above can't fast every day, can't fast every day. Malcolm X did eat one meal a day for 20 years, and he died one of the cleanest colons. And I never saw Malcolm looking like he was starving. So some people do that, but their bodies get used to one meal a day. And he had plenty of energy, so he said. And he said he always had clarity of mind, which he said he always needed for the people he had to deal with. All right, continue, sis.
Say first you make a habit, then a habit makes you.
That's correct.
People who have a sour stomach are very often of a sour disposition. Everything seems to be contrary to them, and they are inclined to be peevish and irritable. If we would have peace among ourselves, we should give more thought than we do to having a peaceful stomach. At mealtime, cast off care and anxious thought. Do not feel hurried, but eat slowly and with cheerfulness, with your heart filled with gratitude to God for all his blessings.
I have a good friend. I won't call his name because he's probably on the line today. But he is teaching all of us, at least in our circle, to eat slowly. I think he chews every bite like 27 times. Am I right, Sister Melody? Is it 27 or 37? I was watching him eat, and I almost wanted to shove it down his throat. But he was talking about when he eats slower, he feels more full. His food is better digested, and he can enjoy his meal better. And he said it was a gradual process for him. It was part of his learning to love salads, and because sometimes you eat that stuff too fast, you think you might feel more hungry when you're done. But I mean, that dude, he's like a cow on the chewing the cud. And I'm praying for that kind of faithfulness and diligence and patience when I'm eating. But yeah, so food is a much better experience for him now. Much better experience. And Sister Amelia, if she was on, I don't know if she's on, but she would say something to the effect that we're supposed to drink our food. We're supposed to masticate it. That means chew it till it is almost like a drink going down. Masticate it, and our bodies will receive it much better. All right, a beautiful meal setting. This will be our last paragraph, and then we'll take some commentary. I see some commentary on YouTube as well. Go ahead, sis.
Oh, okay. A beautiful meal setting. Let several families living in a city or village unite and leave the occupations which they have taxed themselves physically and mentally, and make an excursion into the country to the side of a fine lake or to a nice grove where the scenery of nature is beautiful. They should provide themselves with plain, hygienic food, the very best fruits and grains, and spread their table under the shade of some tree or under the canopy of heaven. The ride, the exercise, and the scenery will quicken the appetite, and they can enjoy a repast which kings might envy. Councils of Diets and Food, page 86, paragraph 7.
So yes, she's talking about the benefits of, we don't say picnic in our community, an outing, an outing. For those of you who are not know why we don't say picnic, you can Google that and you'll find out why we don't use that word anymore. But she's just talking about an outing. You know, it's nice to eat outdoors with your family. You know, the 4th of July is coming up. You know, I don't really do the holidays like I used to, but it's a chance, you know, you get an extra day off of work. I don't know, I'm not sure what day it falls on, but you know, take the time and go out with your family, eat outdoors, find some place beautiful, you know, enjoy the scenery. It does affect everything, peace of mind. You know, we do everything so hurried. I had a tendency when I used to eat, not even to sit down. I don't know where that came from. Maybe I was the last of 5 and had to get my share before it was gone. Who knows? But sit down, enjoy the food. Look at my mom. Yeah, Mom. You know, you didn't move fast enough in our house. You wasn't getting no orange juice. You last of 5 kids. Am I right, Mom? Because that stuff would go. I look at my mother. I see her head. All right. So there it is. There it is. That's right. She says we also don't say barbecue. I don't know why we don't say barbecue, but I do know why we don't say picnic. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Let's take a look. I want to show you some things that we've talked about on today's call. And I do have a special gift. I want to say for the first 20 people. I was going to say everybody, but I don't know how many people are going to show up on Sabbath to the Bible study. We're doing a sermon on Sabbath. It's called Frog Soup. Frog Soup. That's coming up this Sabbath. That is June 24th. We'll be at the Rockville SDA Church. So if somebody could drop that address in the chat for me, you guys are invited out. The name of the sermon is called Frog Soup, and we're going to be talking about some things that are important that you should know for the last days. And by the way, we're living in the last days. So we want to invite you out for that event, especially if you live in the DC, Maryland, Virginia, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Philadelphia, wherever you live. You're welcome to come out. And we're going to have lunch afterwards. We're going to have lunch. So come and have some food and fellowship with us on this upcoming Sabbath. And if you never enjoyed a Sabbath before, there's no day like it. I'm telling you, when you are in your Father's presence. All right, so let me share some things with you. My mom has a book. Ma, what's that book?
It says Natural Remedies from God's Pharmacy.
Natural Remedies from God's Pharmacy.
The first half talks about the foods for your health. The other side talks about how the different foods are medicines to you. It's very simple, but it makes a lot of sense and it's easy to read. And it's like $5.
Good deal. Good deal. So Mom has a book that she said is very good. It's healthy. Tells you about what you should eat and what those remedies are. You know, you always used to look for those older people in the community that will tell you, take this for that, you know, take 2 drops of this, go rip off that branch over there and chew on that. It's hard to find those people nowadays. It's hard to find them. So that book has that kind of information in it. All right, so let me go online and let me show you some of the things that we talked about. Today I was talking about, what was that thing, the crusher thing that smashed the that you smashed the garlic with? What was that? What was it called?
Like a pestle and mortar.
Pestle. Is that what it's called? A pestle and mortar? Let's see. I didn't know, but we'll find out. Pestle and mortar. Sister Shamba was wrestling with the word earlier on when she was reading. Pestle and mortar. I'll try that. Y'all don't know what that is? Like those things when you smashing the garlic in there? Pestle. How do you even spell pestle? Pestle? Oh, mortar and pestle. You're right, Sister Denise. You know, we recently had one of those little Jeopardy games on here, and Sister Denise won. No wonder. Pestle and mortar. You see that right there? The kitchen mortar with pestle inside. So yeah, this is one of the things that she was talking about. You can mix your sweet oil with your activated charcoal, you know, and then drink it down for your stomach. It'll help it go down much easier. Pestle and mortar. All right, so let's look at some activated charcoal, see if we can find some of that. Another thing that they use a lot in Bible days was what was that thing they gave to the lady? And it made her sick. She took too much. Hyssop. We'll look at some hyssop. Hyssop was one of the main things that they gave people to make them feel better. I think it's in Psalms 51 too. Talks about in Psalms 51. It says, "Purge me with hyssop, and I should be white as snow." So this is some activated charcoal, and it helps with most stomach maladies. You know, those of you who get ulcers and those kind of things. Here's some images of activated charcoal. And there's a lady on the internet that we follow a lot. Her name is Barbara O'Neill. She talks a lot about activated charcoal. And so does Dr. Sabi. Activated charcoal. What is it good for? What is it good for? Let's click on this one. It says, for purifying charcoal masks to hangover-free cocktails and tooth whitening toothpaste, activated charcoal is leaving its carbon footprint. Unlike regular charcoal, which is known as a carcinogen, activated charcoal is medicinal. It is a byproduct of slowly burnt wood, peat, or coconut shells that is treated with oxygen, a process which renders it highly porous and non-polar, allowing it to absorb, that is to bind as opposed to absorb. Hydrophobic toxins and odors from gases or liquids up to 1,000 times its weight. So the activated charcoal binds with these toxins and odors and gases in your stomach. So if you're a gaseous person, you know, y'all know what I mean, gaseous. A little bit of charcoal, some warm water, drink it down, and it'll take care of that. Right? Activated charcoal comes in many forms: powder, pills for ingesting, granules and cubes for purifying the environment, sponges or fabrics for cleansing and wearing. It is an ingredient used for millennia in Ayurveda or Chinese medicine. Is recently even shot to superfood status. Right? A lot of times people use them for compresses. So if they have sores or warts or blisters of some sort, they would put the activated charcoal on and then put it on their skin. She says the intense pigmentation and subtle smoky flavor of activated charcoal has inspired bartenders. It says, while these activated charcoal cocktails are delicious, I don't care about that stuff. I don't drink. All right, let's look at this. Detox drinks. Without a doubt, the detox ingredient of the moment is charcoal. You'll find it sold in activated charcoal lemonade, fresh concoctions. Yeah, okay. All right. Anyway, activated charcoal. We were talking about it earlier. Was there something else that we were talking about on this call? I don't want to show you. Let's see. What was it? Let's see. We talked a lot about fasting today. My wife is a big fan of intermittent fasting. So maybe let me put up with something real quick that just says benefits of fasting. It says 8 healthful benefits of fasting backed by science. Let's see. Skip the commercial. It says fasting may provide several health benefits, including weight loss, improve blood sugar. That's important if you're diabetic. I see a hand up over there. Sis, you got your hand up?
Yes, it's Sister Stevens.
Hey,
I
sister.
wanted to share an experience. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to share an experience with activated charcoal. I mean, I use it for a myriad of things and it does work for so many things. But I went camping once. We were in the wild and I had a severe tick bite and the tick was buried in the flesh of my back of my calf. And I warmed up some water with flaxseed and added the charcoal. And I put it on, made like a paste and put it on the tick bite. By this time, it had swollen and gotten red and looked like I felt like I was about to be paralyzed, but I was probably paranoid at that point. Anyway, I put that on and within a half hour, I started to feel it pulling like something was drawing out of my leg. And the tick came off, the swelling went down by the next morning and healing began. So it was just a different way of experiencing charcoal that I found really amazing.
Now, what did you mix the charcoal with to put it on your leg?
Flaxseed
Flaxseed. Yeah.
and
flaxseed
warm
is like
water.
egg. Warm
Yes.
water. Okay.
Mhm.
Flaxseed's like egg. It's a binder. So yeah, kind of slapped it right on like a salve, didn't you?
Yes.
All right, good deal. That's something. Did you ever get bit by a tick? Maybe even some poison ivy? Sounds like it might work for that. Sounds like it might work for that. Thanks for sharing, sis.
Mhm.
All right, let's go back and see where we were. We were talking about benefits of fasting. All right, eight health benefits of fasting. So improve blood sugar, decrease inflammation. If you have arthritis, you probably got high inflammation, right? They kind of go hand in hand. It's a package deal. It says it might also offer protection against certain conditions like cancer and neurodegenerative disorders. That's Alzheimer's, forgetfulness, all kind of stuff that all of us got a little bit of. It says, despite its recent surge in popularity, fasting is a practice that dates back centuries and plays a central role in many cultures and religion. Defined as abstinence. Remember, we was talking about abstemiousness today, Sister Denise. Defined as abstinence from all foods or drinks for a set period of time. There are many different ways of fasting. We talked about fasting a lot on this call. You know, dry fasting is when you don't even drink water. If you go for a day without food or water. And in the Bible, you find that people fasted a lot, and they normally fasted from sunup to sundown. Sunup to sundown. So that's why in January, when we did our 30-day fast, we did it from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's why. If you find, when we get to the book of Psalms, you will find David many times. And he even did it when his baby died. Remember when the baby that he had with him and Bathsheba died, he waited until sundown and then he ate. He waited to sundown and then he ate. You will find that consistent. Now that I've mentioned it to you, as you go through the Bible and you find times when people fast, you will find that they said the sun went down and then they ate. The sun went down. So they did 6 to 6. It says in general, most types of fasts are performed over 24 to 72 hours. That's a 3-day fast. A 3-day fast resets your immune system, right? My wife does intermittent fasting. On the other hand, involves a cycling between periods of eating and fasting, ranging from a few hours to a few days at a time. So basically, she doesn't normally eat her first meal until noon, and then she eats fruits, and that keeps her until the evening when she eats again. All right, intermittent fasting. All right, and somebody also put in there, fasting also helps control blood sugar. So true. All right, fasting has been shown to have many health benefits, from increased weight loss to better brain function. When you fast, you think clearer and you think faster. You know, the energies that your body uses in your stomach that is now in your head, and you have much, you got something serious and important coming up. Fasting helps. When you're praying and you need that prayer to get through, fasting helps because you're praying with clarity and you will find you're a lot less distracted. All right. So I see a hand up from iPhone. I don't know if that's a new hand, if that's you, Sister Andrea, I'm not sure. but it says promotes blood sugar control by reducing insulin resistance. Several studies have found that fasting may improve blood sugar control, which could be especially useful for those at risk for diabetes. In fact, one study in 10 with people type 2 diabetes showed that short-term intermittent fasting significantly decreased blood sugar levels. Meanwhile, another 2014 review found that both intermittent fasting and alternative day fasting were as effective as limiting calorie intake and reducing insulin resistance. So they eat every other day. There's one kind of fast, the one that Malcolm did forever, what's called an OMD, 1 meal a day fast, is pretty much was what he ate, 1 meal a day. And many people around the world do that. We in America are very blessed to be able to eat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day. But of course, it's killing us, though. It's killing us. We are blessed to the point of death, right? Because we don't have control. Decreasing insulin resistance can increase your body's sensitivity to insulin, allowing it to transport glucose from your bloodstream to your cells more efficiently. All right, it promotes better health by fighting inflammation, right? Everything that doesn't come from your blood sugar level having issues, the next thing you got to look at is inflammation. It says, while acute inflammation is a normal immune process used to help fight off infections, chronic inflammation can have serious consequences for your health. Research shows that inflammation may be involved in the development of chronic conditions such as heart disease, cancer, or rheumatoid arthritis. Do you know they say rheumatoid arthritis is reversible? That's important to know that for those of you who are suffering with that. Some studies have found that fasting can help decrease levels of inflammation and promote better health. One review of 18 studies found that intermittent fasting could significantly reduce levels of creative protein, which is the marker of inflammation. Another small study discovered that practicing intermittent fasting for 1 year was more effective at decreasing levels of inflammation and reducing certain risk factors for heart disease compared to a control group. So intermittent fasting for a year, you could probably take care of some of your heart issues. All right. Again, got more fasting stuff. I think y'all get the point, right? Fasting may boost your brain function, make you smarter, at least you feel smarter, aids with weight loss by limiting calorie intake and boosting metabolism. So it says that your calories go down and your energy goes up. You know, it doesn't make sense. People say, I'm feeling tired, let me go eat. No, it's the eating that's going to make you tired because now your body's got to pull energy from your head down to your stomach to digest the food. And Sister Amelia says, many times when you think you're hungry, you're really just thirsty. So try that. The next time you think you're hungry, drink a glass of water and see if that doesn't resolve your hunger. All right. And when I don't have water handy, I have a tendency to eat more. Right? Keep one of those big bottles near you so you can constantly be at some water. Increases growth hormone secretion, which is vital for growth, metabolism, weight loss, and muscle strength. Could extend longevity. You could live longer. It says in one study, rats that fasted lived 28% longer and developed disease later than rats that were given unlimited access to food. We're eating ourselves to death, man. It says may aid in cancer prevention and increase the effectiveness of chemotherapy. Right? For those of you on chemo, I don't recommend that. Chemotherapy was actually a chemical that was used during, I think it was either Vietnam or the Korean War, and it was supposed to kill people. And they've turned it into medicine because they had so much left over when the war was over. Right? So you better be careful for that stuff, man. All right. And he says here how to start fasting: water fasting, juice fasting, intermittent fasting, partial fasting, and then calorie restriction. Calorie restriction. All right, so that's just some stuff on fasting. Safety and side effects of fasting. Talk to your doctor if you got medical conditions. Let them know. Your doctor will probably tell you take a bunch of medicine, but maybe you won't. Maybe you won't. At least check in with them. All right, so that's it for us today. Anybody got any questions or comments before we land the plane? Sister Denise. Can't hear you. We see you. Can't hear
Okay, I think I'm on
you.
now.
I hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, nutritionist friend once said to me, when you're entering a fast, that you kind of eliminate the foods you're eating in stages. Say if you're eating meat, you cut that out, then you cut out your vegetables, your fruit, then you get into your water, and then you enter your fast. And coming out of the fast is the reverse process. You add your what is it, your vegetables, your fruit, and in succession. You don't just stop cold and go into a fast and then end the fast and just eat as much as you were eating. Am I getting the picture, the process?
I
Yes.
never heard the stop gradually. I've heard that when you reintroduce after an extended fast, you should do it gradually. So that portion I have heard. But I could look into it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a hard stop might affect some people, but the reason you fasting is because you're having issues most times, and you probably need to do a hard stop. But if you fast for too long, you can't go from a 7-day or a 5-day fast and just go down to Chick-fil-A. You're going to have some issues. So they'll tell you drink some water, drink some broth, kind of reacclimate your body to some food, especially if it's a longer than a 3 or 5-day fast. All right. So let me take a look here. Did you have any more comments before I go to these other things? All right. So let's look here. Sister Glenda online, and good morning to everybody online. She has some comments on here. She says, sugar is in practically everything under misleading descriptions and names. So true. If it ends with the word ose, O-S-E, it is probably a sugar. Sucralose, whatever, the ose. Right. I'll put some of those in the computer in a second, and we'll take a look at that. She says, add fried frog legs to the list of abominations. She says, I've ignorantly eaten, but I won't anymore now that I'm woke. Yes, I didn't even know you could buy. Where you buy fried frog legs? Is that Kentucky Fried? Where do you even get fried frog legs? I mean, anybody know? All right, I'm just asking for a friend. I don't even know where you can get fried frog legs. All right, let's look and see. She says, yogurts, even sugar-free, causes nasal and chest congestion. So yogurt is spoiled milk. Yogurt is spoiled milk, right? She says, what is the book's author? Let me pull up the book again back to the beginning, and I'll show you the book. This is a book. It's actually a compilation that we've been reading. But it comes from a book called Counsels and Diets and Food. That is the name of the book. And another book is called Ministry of Health. But what we have been reading is a compilation put together of writings by a woman named Ellen White, who talks about health. And the guy who put this compilation together is a guy by the name of Glenn Toppelberg. I'm sorry, I called him Alan Toppelberg earlier by accident, but it's Glenn Toppelberg. So he went through a lot of the writings that she had on health, and he simplified it and put it in a little manual, and he shares it with all of his patients. He shares what I'm sharing with you with all of his patients. And this comes from writings done by Miss White, over 100 years old, these writings, most of them. And he organized them, as you can see. So it's easy for people to follow, for his patients to follow, and for other people. And this book has been a tremendous help for so many people to be able to take charge of their health and their diet. So I'm going to put a digital copy on the line for those of you who want a digital copy, so you can read it in your own time. And I love it because you can actually search for whatever it is that you want to find in the book. So if there's a particular issue that you're having and you want to search the book, you pull it up and then you just hit Control F. You see it up there? Then I can put like fasting in there, and it will go through the document and pull out all of the sections about fasting. Right? It will, pull it up, makes it easy to search through the book. All right. She also says, the metal one looks like a nutcracker, or simply called a garlic press. Or I guess she was talking about the pestle and what was that, Sister Denise? The hammer?
Pestle and mortar
The pestle and the mortar. Okay, cool.
There are garlic presses.
And she's talking about the garlic press. She says suggestions to end or relieve nasal congestion and breathing complications and wheezing. The number one suggestion is get dairy out of your diet. Eggs, cheese, milk, butter, yogurt, sour cream, dairy. Dairy is a big problem when it comes to breathing and asthma. Those things create a lot of mucus. They create a lot of mucus, so you want to get that out of your system. She says it is important that physical activity is curbed, limited while fasting to prevent dizziness, weakness, etc. I don't know. I mean, I guess extra physical activity, but walking is fine when you're fasting. We did a video about a guy who fasted for how long? It was 56 days. 56 days. He lost 125 pounds. And I'm not suggesting anybody do that, but he documented what his body was going through with some doctors over the change. And some days he did do a lot of exertion, but you don't have to lay in the bed because you're fasting. She says, my medical doctor said, eat whatever comes out of the ground. Do not eat whatever walks on top of the ground. That is great advice. Great advice. And then Sister Glenda says, an oncologist told me never use deodorant. That's true. A lot of countries don't use deodorant. They don't use deodorant. Let's go and find some stuff about this. And the reason a deodorant is bad sometimes, especially antiperspirants. That's if somebody told you don't take deodorant, it's antiperspirants. And antiperspirants keep you from sweating. The Bible, not the Bible, but God wants us to sweat, right? That's why one of the reasons why pigs retain all of their poisons in their body, they don't have sweat glands, right? So a lot of deodorants have aluminum, can't even spell it, aluminum. I feel like Dan Quayle. He could spell potato. They have aluminum in it. So that's why a lot of times they sell aluminum free deodorant, right? And we talked about that last week. Tom's is one brand that has aluminum free, right? Here's Arm & Hammer without aluminum. A lot of these companies are getting hip to making a healthier brand deodorant because people are waking up to the poisons that are in them. But definitely you don't want to use antiperspirants. You're supposed to sweat so the toxins can come out of your body. But use the deodorants with the least amount of anything in it, the least amount. And there's some natural ways to do it. My daughter has a lot of stuff that she does naturally. I have to bring her on for y'all one day. She's full of nuggets. I mean, I think she's built for wilderness survival, my daughter. But maybe one day we'll bring her on and y'all could ask her some questions and she could tell you about her routine. Sister Glenda says, never put anything on your skin or in your hair that cannot be eaten. And I 100% agree. You know, in my hair, I normally put castor oil. Castor oil. If you have dandruff of any sort, anything in your head that makes you itch or sore, castor oil is a great sort of deal for that. Castor oil. It also, those of you who use a lot of gels in your hair, gels to keep your hair curly or moisturized, castor oil, right? You know, especially those who are in those natural hairstyles, castor oil. And if you want to mix it or have a lighter oil, I like sweet almond oil, sweet almond oil. I don't know why they call it sweet. I never tasted it, but it's called sweet almond oil. So, in Coming to America, Eddie Murphy, you know, the guy at the barbershop asked him, why is your hair so great? He says, I use natural juices and berries. Most of the stuff that you're buying over the counter is doing something bad to you. So Sister Glenda got it 100% right. So try to get something natural if you're going to, you know, whatever you put under your arm should be something you could eat. You know, they do have a company like that, by the way, that almost all of their ingredients are edible. They're not suggesting that you should eat them, but you can eat them. And there used to be a company. What was that company that made those cleaning? They made cleaning supplies that you could eat. They had a big MLM. I can't remember the name of that company. Can't remember. Yeah, it's one of y'all was probably in one of those companies.
Yeah, Amway.
No, it wasn't Amway, but it was the company that used to tell you that.
Watkins.
What was it?
Watkins. Felder. Watkins.
No. It was a company where they used to do presentations and they used to talk about the reason Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's was because of the cleaning agents that they were using when he was At training camp. Yeah. Nobody knows about that company. All right, no worries. It'll come to my mind later. I bet as
Would
soon
it
as I
be
get off.
full of brush?
Excuse me?
Full of brush?
No.
No.
No, but it was one of those MLMs that they were talking about all of their products. They got products for everything, but they was like, whatever we use, whatever we sell, you can eat it and won't get sick. You don't have to worry about the kids or the dogs getting their hands on it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want my kid or my dog eating it
Your
anyway.
father was in it for a minute, right?
Yeah.
And it cost him a lot of money, me a lot of money. I don't know if it worked or not, but I put one of those things in my face, it broke out. It was some I broke all out with this stuff. And he put my name on it and cost me so much money. They were suing the company and they gave that one check and I never heard from them more. They disappeared, but they owed me a lot of money because your father took it out on me, but the stuff broke out my face.
Yeah, maybe your skin is sensitive. Maybe your skin is sensitive. Anyway, you can eat it, though, Ma. You can eat it. It might break your face out, but you could have eaten it and not getting sick. Anyway, maybe next week I'll remember the name of that product or that company line. But it's still around, Ma. People still selling that stuff. Somebody was trying to sell me some stuff from them not too long ago. Anyway, I've enjoyed you guys today. And I wanted to remind you again, on Sabbath this week, we're going to be at the Rockville City Church. Did anybody put the address in the thread? Come on.
Yes,
All right.
it's in there.
I'm looking for it. I'm looking. If whoever found the address, can you repost it for me? I'm trying to find it. I want to just give you the address for Sabbath if you're coming. Try to make it there for 9:30 if you can. That's when we have Sabbath school. And then, there's a short little break, and then we'll have the sermon around 11. You definitely want to get a seat if you can. Come early so you can get a seat. We are having lunch. If you're able to bring a dish, you can bring one. But if you do, let it be vegan or vegetarian. No meat. It's a no meat zone. No meat zone. So vegan or vegetarian. If you don't cook, we're not talking to you. You could bring juice. You could bring juice, or you could get a store-bought dessert. And if that's vegan or vegetarian, that would be awesome. So the address is going to be 727 West Montgomery Avenue. 727 West Montgomery Avenue. I'm putting it in the on Zoom, and I'm putting it on YouTube in case anybody wants to come out. The name of the sermon is called Frog Soup. It is called Frog Soup. As I close out, I am going to show you the first slide of the presentation. My wife was like, boy, you're going to make sure everybody know. I'm just making sure anybody who want to know, who want to be there, can be there. I think it's important. I think we're living in the last days. Some of y'all may agree. Some of y'all may not. But I think after the presentation, you may agree that we are living in the last days. So that's my opening slide. It's called Frog Soup, man. It's called Frog Soup. So you're welcome to come out. Also, we're going to have lunch afterwards, and we're going to have fellowship. That means we get a chance to talk live and in person. That's a rare thing nowadays. I haven't seen some of y'all since before COVID. Some of y'all in 10 years, I have never seen you, or going on now 11 years. I've never seen you in person. So if you want to come on out, you're invited. All right. It's going to be in Rockville, Maryland this Saturday, June 24th. With that being said, everybody, thank you so much for being on with us. I am ever so grateful. I look forward to seeing each of you at the gates of the kingdom. For what would it profit us to gain the whole world and to lose our own soul? Until I meet you and greet you, walk with the King today and be a blessing. Today's study is officially over. Take care, everybody.